What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Raven Invest. Today we are going to have a look at my pros and cons for the three big buying and selling platforms for sports cards: eBay, Starstock, and COMC. Now, again, these are my personal pros and cons, but I invite everyone to leave a comment and let me know what your pros and cons are for the different platforms. Everybody sees everything differently, so I invite us all to kind of share there and see everybody's different point of view. But before we get into that, I wanted to remind everybody that we do have a subscriber contest coming up. We're trying to hit 50 subscribers on the channel. I'm going to give away one of my Peyton Manning rookies. I will put the link into the description for the video that shows the prize. And once we hit that 50 subscribers, I will put out a video with instructions on how to enter the contest. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, this would be a perfect time. And if you enjoy these kind of videos that we do here on Raven Invest, throw us a like there. That lets YouTube know that these are the kind of videos that you guys like. So let's get right into it, and we'll dive right into the first pros, which will be eBay. Okay. Oh, I disappeared. There I am. Okay. So the first one we're going to look at is eBay is the largest sports market in the world. More people looking at it means more chance to selling your card, which also brings us to Pro 2, I guess, which is your best chance. eBay is probably your best chance to get top dollar for your card because of the structure of it, the auction structure, because of the exposure. Chances are people who are buying, say, sports cards on a whim or don't know a lot about or not really heavy into it are probably going to get from eBay first before the other two. So there's definitely a lot more exposure. Gives you more of a chance to be able to sell your cards. The third one is accepts any type of card. So you're not limited on what cards you sell. You can sell anything from serial cards to Sports Illustrated cards to rare, exotic cards from your hometown. It doesn't really matter. They will accept any card. So that's a good thing. Pro to me. The custom title, being able to list your own title in eBay, gives you an opportunity for kind of search engine optimization opportunities. And we know how that plays a part in how your web page is ranked in Google. I would assume, I don't know identically, but I would assume it's pretty similar to eBay. And I noticed that people doing certain things like putting PSA question mark in the title, little tricks like that. Those little tricks that you can put into the titles, which you can't do on other platforms, allow you to get more exposure of your card. Now, from what I've seen, eBay is cracking down on some of those types of things, but still, that's a benefit to be able to get your cards seen over other, because the other two platforms that are in this list, they both have all the cards right in front of you. Like they're right in front of you. With eBay, you could type a search in. If we pop over to eBay here just to kind of show you, if we look here, I have the two Calvin Ridley searches. One's 2018 Donruss Calvin Ridley RC, and the other one is Donruss Calvin Ridley RC. And we get different search results for both of them. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of the same cards in there, but we're getting different search results. So that has a lot to play in how your card's seen. So that to me is a plus, being able to figure that out, how to get your cards seen by more people. Next one is transparent sales data. None of their data is hidden. It's all there for the taking. You just got to be able, and we'll get into that into the next section there, but they do have very, the buyer, when it was sold, if it was an auction, if it was a buy it now, things like that. So their sales data is very transparent. You can see the card you're buying, and you could even request from the seller to see additional pictures of the card. I don't believe you can do that on COMC, and obviously you can't do that in Starstock because you're looking at a stock photo. So that is a bonus there, a pro as I see it. And the last one is you can buy cards in lots. And that certain situations you can actually save quite a bit of money if you're able to buy it in a bigger lot. I know a lot of people will just piece together cards in lots to because they don't want to list them, so you can take advantage of that. So to me, those are some of the maybe not all the pros, but those are some of the pros that stick out to me. So now we take those and then we go over to the cons. Okay, so the first con I have for eBay is there's a lot of scammers, and from the buyers and the sellers' point of view. Buyers that fake bid, buyers that send or claim that the card was wrecked when they got it, things like that. There's sellers that don't send cards. There's purposely misled heading, titles or stating something in a card that's or using that little loophole. The only reason I'm listing this as a reprint is because it hasn't been authenticated. They know they know it's a reprint. They're just trying to get you to have that little glimmer of hope that it's a real card. So you got to watch out for a lot of that. Shipping can be a hassle, especially for me, especially being international. Shipping is a hassle. Paying for shipping, even to ship cards off can be a hassle if you've got, obviously if you're selling a lot of cards, you're making a lot of money, but if you're making constant trips to the post office, things like that, it can be a hassle. And again, more for international shippers as well, or international outside the U.S. It's very hard to get a clear view of the competition, and that's very important, just simply because you need to know what you're going against. You don't want to sell a card for $1,500 and everybody's selling it for $12. Probably not going to sell unless you are a king at optimizing and getting, better at the titles and all that stuff than everybody else. But, not everybody is like that. So, got to make sure to see who you're selling against, and it's very hard to do that on eBay, I find, for me. The next one, custom titles. Again, it is a pro, but it's also a con because it can hurt you. You can misspell somebody's name. You can leave a key attribute out, which drops your visibility down. So unless you know what you're doing, it can hurt you as well as help you. A spelling mistake. It also allows people to do false listing, to put clickbait kind of titles to get you to look at their card. Anyway, again, sorry. That's another con that sticks out for me for sure. The next one up, you do have the transparent sales data, and I like that. That's definitely something that's important to me. The problem is to really understand it and see it, you need a third-party software. You need Card Ladder, you need Market Movers, you need things like that. Even with COMC, with their sales data being very, very limited, you can at least they have a chart that shows you some kind of trajectory, if it's going up, where the peaks of the sales of the cards and the quarters and things like that. On eBay, you don't get that without third-party software, which you have to pay for. So to me, unfortunately, even though they do have the data available, and it can be manually, you don't need to pay for them, but you can't get the same data on the other platforms that you can on eBay without paying for it. So to me, that's a little bit of a con. The high fees, obviously everybody knows everybody has fees. That's one thing that I hear a pretty common complaint is about eBay, is about the fees, and why a lot of people will do offline deals on IG and things like that. So the next one is accepts any cards and even fake. So again, this is another one which is a pro and also a con, because they accept everything. you're allowed to post whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. So, you know, there's a lot of, again, I see it, I see a lot of those. The only reason I'm listing as a reprint is because it's not authenticated. But they very well know that it's a reprint. They're trying to give you a hope that you're going to pay a little bit more because it could be real. You know, that to me is obviously a little shady there. So that kind of is definitely a con for me. And it's a lot of prep work to sell, which is why a lot of people will sell lots on eBay because they don't want to list 40 or 50 single cards on their own, you know. So that to me, it's a little, again, none of this stuff is necessarily super a deal breaker, and doesn't make eBay a viable place for me anyway to sell cards. These are the kind of downfalls that I look at it. And maybe some of these will change if I start using eBay more, buying and selling and things like that. We can see, but for right now, this is the way it stands for me. And I do plan on using eBay, probably more to buy stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Makes me for me, shipping is a nightmare, obviously. So I'd be directly shipping to Starstock or COMC. So I'm never going to be able to see the cards. If I ship them to Starstock, I'm risking getting a B, you know. So I don't know. Anyway. Right now, that's how it stands for me on eBay for the pros and cons. So next, we can move on to Starstock. And again, we're just going to go through the list, and I'll kind of explain where I'm thinking with this, and what's going through my head, and why, you know. Anyway, all right. So the first one here, the first pro we have is cards are stored in the vault, so it's no shipping or scams, meaning that I don't have to worry about if the person's sending the card to me, if it's the same card they're sending to me that was in the listing, and I don't have to go and send out the card. I can collect all my cards digitally on Starstock and send whatever I want home. I can send them to COMC. I can do whatever I want to. Again, I can, and being international, that's a big thing because that will cut down on big time shipping costs. So number 2 would be the detailed sales data on the site. That's one of the things that Starstock does, I find, better than obviously anybody else, is they have the best of both worlds. They have the transparent sale. You can see every sale made, but you can also have a visually better way to look at it with the graph telling you can see the peaks and the valleys and the trends and stuff like that over time. So that to me stands out. That's one of Starstock's big pros for me. The collection value stats and sharing. That's another thing I like, that they evaluate your overall collection value. Now, I'd like to, and maybe I just have to look into a little bit more, but what they actually value, how they get that number. But anyway, that is basically one of their better pros, I guess. These are not particular in any particular order, but being able to share the collection, I like that as well. That's a pretty cool thing. For somebody who does stuff strictly on digital, I can't share cards like other people that, you know, pick them up in person or get them shipped to eBay. I can't, you know, these are my pickups this week are all digital. So for me, this is something that I could share and say, hey, this is what I picked up this week. This is what I have, you know, whatever the case may be. So that's a pretty cool pro for me. Next one is it's only 25-cent upload fee for each card to upload. And that's good. It's in the middle. Obviously, it's nothing to sell them on eBay. No initial upfront cost to sell it on eBay. And it's between 50 cents and $1 for COMC, so that kind of falls right in the middle. So I give that a pretty good con. A pretty good pro, not a con. The next one is the front page information. Example like the emerging 30 or the upcoming games, you know, the most traded of that day, you know, that type of stuff. that type of stuff is pretty cool. I like to see that and that presented that way, right in on the front page for each sport. So that's a really big pro for me. Able to download your collection into Excel. Again, I'm a big, as you've seen by my other videos, I'm a big Excel guy. So being able to download my collection into Excel and manipulate it when it's in Excel to get the whatever I want to see out of it, that's definitely a pro for me. And you can see the total card count, not just what's for sale. That's another big thing. And I bet if I could take 3 or 4 of these pros from each different site, I could make a wicked platform to sell cards. But we have what we have here. Everybody has their own things. So, but this is definitely one that is a very big bonus for me. That you can see that Starstock has 240 of a particular card, but only 120 are for sale, for example. You can't see that on COMC, and it's hard to see that on, as I showed with eBay, that I typed in 2 different search results and got 2 different amounts of results, kind of thing. So with Starstock, that's very easy to see. So that was a pretty big pro for me. Okay, so we move on to the cons. The first con is only accepts certain cards. That to me is a little bit of a downfall, because then they can pick and choose what they want. Anyway, I don't know. I guess it's not a huge deal, but that forces you to really only buy the premium cards and being able to sell the premium cards in there. And I understand why they do it. They want to keep it a clean market. They want to get overloaded with junk, and there is some junky stuff out there. But I think it limits that people on the site, because some people don't do the premium stuff. Some people can't afford the Starstock A's, and sometimes even the B's. So anyway, I think that's a little bit of a con for me. Maybe it's not for somebody else, and I understand again why they do it. I just, I prefer it would be a little different. Now I like to see that they're accepting vintage cards. Now they're and they're only doing graded as well, but that's fine. Maybe expand to hockey, some other sports, some UFC I'd love to see in there. So anyway, just my thoughts on that. You can't see the competition, and so hidden users. So you don't know who you're buying from. And to me, maybe a lot of people wouldn't think of it that way, but that's one of the things that I'll get into when it's COMC's turn, is I like to be able to see who's in front of me, who's on that list. If we're buying by lowest priced on the list, I want to see the different people. From being on months on COMC, I'm starting to recognize a lot of names and a lot of tendencies. So I know that this user ID, if I put below, he'll get into a bidding war with me, or he'll get into a dropping price war. I don't know what else to call it. So you get to know the users, especially in your level of cards that you're selling, and type and things like that. But that's a big thing to me. And the other thing that kind of goes along with that, I think is probably another one of the cons here. In fact, nope, that's not one. But we'll get into it when another kind of in that can't see hidden users kind of thing. But the next one is every card is graded by Starstock. And to me, I guess it's not that bad of a con, but to me it seems like that allows them to control the flow of A's and B's. Whether they say they do, I don't have any proof that they don't. I don't have any proof that they do either. I don't know that the card that I send them, it grades a B, is going to be the same B that I get back. I don't know if anybody's done a test and guaranteed that they, done something to the card, retrieved that card back, and it's the same card. I've also heard a lot of people talk about, when you're going to send a card to grading, they take it off the top of the pile. When you're going to send it home, they take it off the bottom of the pile of the quality. I don't have any proof on that, but that kind of makes me a little nervous. At least with PSA, they're not gaining from you getting a 10. Like, they don't get more money from you getting a 10. They get a little bit more exposure, but Starstock gets more money when they get A's, right? Starstock, they get more percentage on transaction fee. So controlling the flow of A's to keep the price at a level is something that is within the realm of possibility. I don't want to say for sure that I know that, but I don't want to say that I don't know that. I can't rule it out for 100% either. So the next one, the listing process is not optimized for large. It's a pain in the ass to list cards on Starstock, especially if you've got hundreds of them. I unfortunately don't have hundreds of them, so it's and that I've only got about 40 right now, and it's even a pain in the butt for me. The other thing that I found, and that's kind of was that can't see the competition. When I'm selling a card, I sell one, like I either have to individually price them at different prices. It almost doesn't allow you to see which card it is to sell. Right? Like if I bought a card for $3 and I bought a card for the same card for $5, a Starstock A, well, I'm going to want to sell the $5 one for more than I'm going to want to sell the $3 one just to make my money. I'm not going to sell them the same, right? So I may sell the $3 one for $5. Well, if I'm putting that one it doesn't give me an option. I put one for sale. Does it pick the lowest priced one? Does it pick the first bought one? Does it go in order of purchase? I don't know. There's maybe an answer out to that. I just don't know. So that kind of, and also setting the prices, being able to have to go and cancel them and relist them, and that doesn't work for me very well. And I can imagine people with a couple hundred or a couple thousand cards in their collections it's very hard to do. So that's definitely a Starstock con for me. Next one, I find that the sets and the paragolds are disorganized. And we can hop over and I'll show you exactly what I mean. And like here, just for example, like I find this hard to figure out which, like they're not in any order. Sometimes the silvers are up here, sometimes they're buried down low. I don't know exactly how they sorted, if it's just straight numbers. Kind of looks like it is. So that to me is not efficient. Like look, they only have, oh, that's the preview. But anyway, yeah, I don't like the way that this is organized, and I understand once you go into the card you can see all the parallels, but I have to find the card first, then go into the card, then to look at the different parallels. And I'll show you later why this is definitely a pro for me on COMC, because it's one of the things that I like to do the most. Okay, and we have our last one here, and we can't see the actual card that you're buying or selling. That bugs me a little bit, because I don't really know what I'm buying. I'm just buying a name on the screen, rather than, at least with eBay and at least with COMC, I can see the card. So that irks me a little bit, but I guess it's, again, none of these pros and cons are deal breakers for not using the platform. They're just things that I wish would be a little bit different. But if we change everything to the way that I like it, everything's just going to be the same. So there will be no difference between COMC or no difference between Starstock. So let us move on to the COMC. So for the COMC pros, I have accepts any card but reviews it for authenticity. And the reason I say that is they do accept all cards, but the authenticity is they load it, they catalog it, they pick the card. So they're going to know if it's a junk card or if it's a fake card, and if they're going to note it if it's maybe been trimmed and stuff like that. So there is some authenticity there. So you can't send fake cards. You don't need to worry about fake cards, things like that. The next one is cards. Again, cards the same as Starstock. Cards are stored in the vault, so there is no shipping issues or scams. The only downfall is, and I guess this could be a con, but it's an ever-changing scenario. So I didn't put it in the list, but it takes a while to get your stuff shipped from COMC. They are doing better. They're improving from what I've seen over the last couple months, but it's still not where kind of everybody would like it to be, and maybe it never will be. But yeah, I still like the cards being stored on the digital on the vault, and I can access them and sell them and bring them home, do whatever I want with them by just clicking some buttons, and I don't need to worry about going to the post office and doing all that stuff. Next one, you can see the competition, and that is a huge thing for me. As you've seen in my other videos, I'm trying to figure out the list, the COMC list, where to position, how long is it going to take to sell in that position, things like that. And if we hop over to COMC and we look here, I can see all the sellers here, right? They list all the sellers, so I can see easily who's selling for what's the highest, what's the lowest, the total, things like that. That to me is very, very beneficial. Now I'm not seeing it. I don't know if you can see my cursor. I'm just noticing that maybe you can't see my cursor, but you can see me highlighting the names there for some reason. I don't know why my cursor is not. Oh, there it is. It was too far over. Oh, never mind. Okay, so apparently that loses the video. Anyway, so we'll go back to here. So we can see the competition, and that again, that's a big bonus, or that's a big thing for me, being able to see if the person in front of me, if it's one person, if it's 5 people, if it's a person, it's 2 different people. You know what I mean? That's a big importance to me. So and the other places, eBay is very hard to see that, and Starstock doesn't allow you to see that. So that's why this is a definite pro for me, for COMC. Parallels are easy to see. So if we go back to that same, I seem to have lost it. My apologies. Try to be a little bit more professional with these videos, but anyway, still learning. But we'll go back and try and scroll up here a little bit. So now we can see all the different parallels listed nicely right here for you. And if I want to hit one, I just click on it and it takes me right to it. I can see, and this is where I'll compare prices. I'll see that, okay, well, this card out of 199 is selling for $110, and this one is selling one at 75 is $105, for example. So I can see that variance, and that allows me sometimes to get some great deals on some cards, just because I can immediately identify what the different prices of the parallels are. And again, that's not to say that you can't see that stuff on Starstock. It's just not as easy to see in my eyes anyway. So we'll pop back over to here, and we got the next one, which is, so the page data, and this one's probably a big one for me, but the page data is easily copied into Excel. And if you've seen in my previous videos, when I first started on COMC, I built a tool. I was able to copy all the cards in, and it gave me the up-to-date accurate prices as of that point. And all I had to do was do a couple of copy and paste, took maybe 5 minutes. So that is a huge pro for me, that I'm able to extract that data off COMC and put it into an Excel spreadsheet. Now you can, again, as I said in the other one, you can download stuff from Starstock, but you can't download the available cards and how much they cost in bulk. So that's where it's a little bit different there. So the next one, I love the ease of the sorting and filtering on COMC. I'm able to do a couple clicks and search a particular set, search a year, whatever you want. I find it a lot better than the other two websites by far, and definitely something that keeps me coming back to COMC. Again, to touch on the 2 points ago where I can copy it into Excel, they also offer the downloadable purchases and sales data that you, similar to Starstock, you can download them and you can run fancy numbers on them, figure out how much you've made, all those fun things. So that's available, similar to what I have in Starstock. And then we have, you can see the card that you're buying. You'll see in the cons there's a little bit of a counter to that, where we've had a couple others where there is a pro and a con for the same item. You'll see that in the next one. But yeah, again, you can have a look at each card that you buy, take a look at it if it meets your quality. I don't know if you're going to trust them for grading purposes, but you never know. Depending, some of these elite scans look pretty good to me. So that's it for the pros. So we'll go over to the COMC cons. Now, as you probably, if you've seen my videos before, I'm big on the COMC and use, 75 to 80, maybe even 90% of my investments and everything's on COMC. So people are probably going to think it's a little bit funny that I only have 3 cons on the COMC list. The problem is those 3 cons are probably the deal breakers for a bunch of people. And they are significant cons, so, it's almost, eBay and Starstock may have 6 cons, and COMC only has 3, but these 3 cons are worth the 6 cons almost, kind of, at Starstock and eBay. But anyway, we'll get into it. So first one is the cryptic and hidden sales data. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to add up the sales figures that they post on COMC, but they never add up. Like the total sales, I can never get the perfect number to match up with the sales that they display in the box. Right? It's I don't know. I've never been able to balance that where the total sales that it displays beside the graph matches to the box that I've brought up by going through all the different sales that have happened for the different qualities and raw, noted, things like that. So that, and the fact that they don't show you each individual sale, and I know they have the data because when it's purchased, the seller and the buyer get a itemized in their purchase and sales list, so they could easily attach that data, even if it was just the date and the price. That's it. That would be good enough. That would be a monumental upgrade for COMC for me. Even just that, to have each transaction, even make it one of your points that they charge to look at the history points. Make it a history point or 10 history points to download the sales for that, right? Anyway, I don't know if they'll ever do it, but hopefully they do, because that I think will make it a whole lot better. The 10% cash out fee. Again, this is another deal breaker for some people. They do not use COMC because of that. Yes, it's a big thing, and absolutely. There's 2 ways there's a few ways that you can get around it. You can deal with it, whatever. First way is just ship cards home instead of taking money. So buy a specific card that you want, send it home, sell it on eBay to get the cash, or just use the balance to buy personal cards, whatever the case may be. You can do that. 1, you can bake the 10% into the cost of the card when you sell it. So for example, when I sell my card, I always tack on 5% for the COMC sales fee. Well, if you tack on 15%, that means that every sale that you make, that 15% is already built into that price. So when you take your money out, you've already paid that 10%, right? Because you're increasing it by 10%. And the other option is you just chalk it up to the cost of doing business. I'm sure there are a lot of small business owners, and business owners get stuff like this all the time where it's just, you hate to pay it, but that's just the cost of doing business. Again, there's a few different ways to work, but it is a pretty big thing, and it's a pretty big showstopper for some people. Not for me, because I will find a way around it, and if I have to take the 10% out, it's, again, I kind of look at this the cost of doing business. The next one is this one. I don't have any solid proof, but I have seen a couple of matrix or glitchy kind of situations. If you look on COMC, the Henry rugs based on rust, the picture, at least at the last time I looked, the picture has some sort of flame reflection on every card. Now, I don't know if this is a problem with the camera, but I can't imagine they pictured every Henry Ruggs card on the same day and had the same clamor glitch. And I looked on eBay, and I looked at Starstock, and there's none of that little flame thing on it to basically indicate that it was the card being. I'm just going to pull it up here. I wasn't going to, but I'm just going to pull it up for everybody here. And I also found a serial numbered card that the two cards in the picture had the same serial number. So again, I don't know if that was a mistake. Yeah. So if we switch back over to the COMC window here, you can see, like, look at this little flame thing on all the cards. Like, I don't know what maybe it's mistaken, and maybe it's an error on the card, and every card has it. It just doesn't show up on all cameras. I don't know, but to me that looks like they're reusing the same scan over and over and over and over again. I don't know if I checked all 84 of them, but I checked 5 or 6 pages, and every page they were just covered. Now, again, is that irrefutable proof that they're reusing screenshots? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but it was a little bit fishy to me, because that's one of the big pros, is that I can see the card. Well, if they're not showing me the card and they're just showing me a stock photo that they use, what's the good of that? So I'd also like to hear in the comments if you've ever run into anything like that on COMC. Obviously, eBay is you get some shady stuff on there, but on COMC, it's supposed to be an upload of the card, the actual card that you're buying and selling. So if anybody's seen anything like that, just let me know in the comments there. Well, as I said, these are my personal opinions on pros and cons of the different buying and selling platforms. Everybody may see them differently than I do, and that's totally fine. But yeah, share in the comments if you have some big pros and cons for some of these different platforms. That if you have a con that just completely turns you off the platform, let me know in the comments. Again, if you like this type of stuff, smash that like button, show the channel some support, some love. If you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do it. We're just about to hit that 50 subscriber giveaway. Get yourself in there to get a Peyton Manning. Let me show my appreciation to everybody who still comes back and watches my videos and likes the videos and comments. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend, and until next time, stay safe.